vervliegt. Eva is crying like an annoyance in the background. This is my 7th day going live. Eva's not going to shut up. Okay. What is... Alright, so I am live. And because I am live, annoyances are happening. Yeah. I knew that by going live, I would cause my cats to cause a ruckus. So I have here an iced coffee. Eva, sweetheart, yes, we have a rule. If you interrupt the video, you get to be in the video. Yes. Yes, you see, you... Ah! Ah! Oh. Yeah, Tristran, I just had Mistopheles jump on my leg and sink her claws in. It is not wise not to wear pants in my house. And by not wear pants, I mean wear shorts. Get your mind out of the gutter. I did not put enough ice in this coffee, by the way. Oh. You know, I auditioned for the whale. I didn't get the part. Apparently, I'm not fat enough, so, you know. Chimichanga. Do you know the chimichanga was made to try and make burritos last longer? My day was okay. I tried my first hard monster, which was an absolute disappointment. And did you know that they make hard monster, but it's not an energy drink, it's just a soda with booze. It's a malt beverage, so essentially it's a beer, but it's a beer with no caffeine, and no energy vitamins. So you're just paying a lot of money for something that tastes terrible and doesn't keep the party going. Uh, you know, uh, I say oh a lot. I've woken up. I sleep during the day, and I tend to be more active at night. And I've woken up right now. I've got dishes soaking in the sink. I've got my computer in the background rendering. On this computer, I am. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm transferring files, and it's saying it's going to take about 10 hours now to transfer these files. I've got something in the washing machine, so I'm not just here talking to you folks. I'm trying to make the best use of my time. And as I've said before, I'm trying to get watch hours on this YouTube channel. And this is my 7th straight day where I have done a live stream. This is, I believe I would assume it's the 7th or 8th live stream. I'd have to check. But I'm trying. When did I start this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is my 8th live stream, yeah. So I'm trying to get my channel hours up, which is the cats. Trying to get my channel's hours up, which is the whole point of this. Ooh, I've got sand in my eye. But as I say, the whole point of this is to get those channel hours up, to try and get as much watch time on this as possible so that I can get monetized. I'm as it shows, I'm 99 subscribers away from monetization on YouTube, but I'm like 2,300 hours, I think. And one thing that's happening here is that this channel is overtaking Random Street Theater, which is my largest channel in terms of views. And I can even show you the analytics from Random Street Theater for a moment here. These are my analytics, and I know that you can't read it from where you are, but I made $23.40 estimated in the last 28 days. All right, and you can see like these. This is the big peaks where I made a whole $2.50 for a day uh, in December, and then it's just trailing off. And part of that is because I did a lot more posting in December, but they say revenue is better in December, which is why I did a lot more posting. So now, seriously, will you guys calm down? I don't know why my cats are acting up, but you see I've got 2 videos here that I haven't posted on Random Street Theater. And I posted 1 video today already, one for the 19th, although it's not a primary video. I'm pushing for it. This is Wolf. Did you make a Twitch account yet? I just started my hardcore forever Minecraft world. No, Tristran. I mean, I think I have a Twitch account. I just never use it.
Max, I mean, don't let that scoreline fool you. Even though it was a 2-0 here in the quarterfinals, that was super winnable. Oh,
What the?
Jeff? Guess who?
It's Jeff. It was Jeff.
Okay, Tristran, how do I find you on Twitch? That's kind of the question. I mean, you know. Yeah. That doesn't look like you. Tristran, how do I find you on Switch? What's your handle? Zoning. Okay, let me search that. New? It's not showing you here. It's a gorilla with glasses, ha ha ha. I don't have a webcam yet. I'm not seeing it, bro. There's some douche with glasses, but that's Albert Kanonging or something. Show more. No. Show all channels. Is it an O or a 0? That may be where I'm getting screwed up here. Let me try that as an O. Okay, so it's a 0. All right. He'll tag me in his link on Twitter. Let me look at my Twitter. There is a lot of hatred on Twitter. I guess that's an internet thing. The ultra-conservative Twitter is Truth Social, and the ultra left-wing Twitter is Blue Sky. For those of you who don't know, I was kicked off of Truth Social in like 5 seconds because I promoted my blog, and I'm currently on Blue Sky. So, the guy on TV screen behind you, there's that colonel from I Dream of Jeannie. This is Project Moonbase. You know, I'm having something streaming behind me so that no matter what happens, no matter what happens, there's always something going on here. Okay, so I found you on Twitch, bro. Nothing's happening though. Dr. Bellows, I Dream of Jeannie. You're awesome. No, you're awesome. I'm paused, haha. Typing here. Doesn't matter. It's still Dr. Bellows from My Dream of Jeannie. Yeah, I mean, actors play different things, bro. I mean, that's just how it is.
Oh,
This is Tristan's Switch. Twitch. Which? I don't know, bro. I mean, you know, I know some twitchy people, but so for those of you who are unfamiliar with the news, right now there are no eggs in California, which is terrible, and there are two fires that are currently threatening my home, although they appear to be under control now. Eva, of course, will not shut up. If any of you would like to adopt Eva, you know, if she comes on screen, she was on screen earlier in the video. Um, she loves the great outdoors, but I really wish right now, the thing I really wish I had was a computer that had a proper webcam. And I mean, I have a number of computers. One of them I should check to see if it has a proper webcam, but it's one of those ultra slim Lenovo's. It's the newest one I have. We could probably use that for streaming, which might give you guys better quality, but because I'm currently working off of an old phone. It is my primary phone, and it's a Motorola stylus. And Motorola is a very trusted brand for me. But we're gonna have a meta moment here. Tristan is a friend of the channel, and he's sent me things. Very dedicated and only slightly creepy dude. So We're gonna watch his Twitch in the background. All right. I don't have the sound on. Oh, okay, sound's on. Tristan, can you hear me?
What's up, Richard?
What's up, bro?
You doing all right, buddy?
I'm hanging in there, having my coffee. This feels really weird.
You know, I don't really like iced coffee. Your phone, by the way, your phone is doing pretty good with streaming.
Yeah. I mean the T430 is the
The camera
problem.
quality's good. The sound is coming in good. I'm a Samsung guy. I've never had a Motorola, so
Well, Samsung is the brand I generally choose for my monitors. My computers have either been Lenovo's or Citizens of the World. Really, I had a Toshiba, but that was basically because they promised me the Toshiba had a superior battery life.
I've
Rockstar
got
92 co-op
my
stream.
monitors and Asus ROG Strix right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. Came with the computer. Well, it didn't come with the computer. I bought two computers actually to get the one that I've got. So I bought one and sold it to a guy who I told I already had it to get the monitor. It came with a webcam, a mouse, a keyboard. It came with everything you needed auxiliary wise. And then I sold it. And then went and bought the PC that I've got.
Well, currently, the computer that you're seeing the monitor of is a custom build from a tech guy who's now retired. It's my AMD based on a Roswell Thor chassis. Uh, the computer that my phone is plugged into is a T44 or T440p refurbish, and anytime I try to use the webcam, it crashes. So I can't use that one. And then behind me, the computer that's rendering is the T430, and its webcam is just abysmal quality. So so I can't use that one, but I have used it for like job interviews
So
and
I
stuff.
think I heard you say that the fires were under control.
Yeah, it's down to two fires in the Los Angeles area, and both of them are receding. It's still we're not out of the woods, they say, but we can see the clearing. So that I mean, air quality has dropped pretty bad. You can smell the smoke from where I am. They've advised us not to go outside the house if we don't have to. But the extent of the damage is done. There's so far a total of 27 confirmed casualties, and I forget how many thousand structures destroyed. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it looks like the fires they're not gone, but they're just a background issue for those of us not in the fire zone. They are not letting people return to whatever homes did survive. They are letting people go to their homes to get things like medications, look for pets that may have been trapped in the fire, and things of that nature. But until the full investigation is complete and they've cleared an area, and by clear an area I mean they've made sure the power lines are secured, they've checked it with cadaver dogs. I mean it's really a complex thing. Until they've done all that, they're not going to let people return to their homes. Although we're already getting advertisements in my area for people to sue because they're saying the Eaton fire may have been caused by the power company. Yeah, vultures, man.
Oh shit, for real?
Yeah, there's a stop order on any land purchases in the fire zone to stop predatory real estate developers from
That's
buying the
good.
burnt
That's
land.
one thing I was worried about is people coming in and just buying that shit up like BlackRock or Vanguard or whoever, you know.
Well, that was the issue with Hawaii when they had that big fire there, is that the indigenous people went out there and they lost everything, and the big companies were like, let's buy up that land. It's Hawaii. There's always a good thing to develop in Hawaiian land. So that was a major concern, and we've learned from that. But the official totals are there was 31,244 emergency responses. There is a total of 197 wildfires recorded in California. Two of them I can see are in Los Angeles County, but one of them is quite small. 40,602 acres burnt, 27 fatalities, and 14,362 structures destroyed. Okay, so that's not structures burnt, that's destroyed. That's structures that are considered a
Hey,
total
the insurance
loss.
companies are about to have to pay out though, man.
Well, that's the thing, is a lot of insurance companies have pulled out of fire insurance in the state of California. And I mean, it's harder and harder, particularly in these areas by the mountains. Um, is that's the thing, is California is known for having its mountains and fertile valleys. That's why we're such a major agricultural producer. But we had that atmospheric river really pounding rain down on us a while back, and that made the brush grow in extreme levels. And that's essentially why this happened. And some people are saying that it's a negligence issue, and yes, okay, that's unquestionable. We knew this was a possibility. We didn't do enough to prevent it.
I think it
I
is negligence, man. I don't think there's been enough prescribed burning in California.
well, in the
Recent decades.
Sacramento area, which our capital is Sacramento. Not a lot of people have heard of Sacramento because we're California. You've heard of Los Angeles, you've heard of San Diego and San Francisco, but the capital is Sacramento, and what they actually did in Sacramento, because it's a rural enough area, is they actually got goats and put the goats on the hillsides and had the goats eat the dry brush. So we don't necessarily need controlled burning. We need some form of management. And the type of management that I suggested, I actually wrote the governor, is what I call the California Cashmere Project. You ask the average Californian, they don't know what cashmere is. Which cashmere is a type of expensive wool, all right, which is harvested only from the neck area of a cashmere sheep. And cashmere sheeps are in such short supply that there are areas where they farm them that have
I'm about
been.
to die already.
I don't know anything about Minecraft, bro. You die in Minecraft? I thought you just build things. Little skeleton
No,
guy.
if you
So,
die, so I'm in hardcore, right? So if you die, you lose your world.
oh,
Ah,
hardcore mode, yeah. Um, Eric Nyland in one of his novels had a character in hardcore mode. I don't know if you've heard of Eric Nyland. He's the guy behind the original story for Halo. He's an author. But yeah, so I wrote the governor, and I actually said,
just let them kill themselves. You see that?
hmm. So I wrote the governor, and I actually said, what we need to do is we need to get sheep and farm sheep in California and use those sheep to eat up all the dry brush. And then, instead of it being a burn, they'll eat the dry brush, and then, of course, it'll pass through their system and they'll fertilize the land. And sheep and goats can actually be taught to consume invasive species of plants, which is a major issue here in California. So I mean, that's just one of those options we have is to uh, consume the dry brush as opposed to burn it. Now there are species that they need to burn to procreate, so burns are still a good idea. But it's just do understand one of the reasons we don't do as much management as we should is because we're a huge state and we've got a lot of land to manage. All right, and it's like it might be land near Los Angeles or it might be land near Fresno or whatever it is. So that's a big issue. But that's the thing. I actually suggested that what they can do is go to the insurance companies and say, "Hey, would you donate to this project where we use sheep to eat up all the dry brush to stop the fires?" And then once the project gets going, you can sell the wool, you can sell the meat from the sheep. If you use goats, you can milk the goats and you can sell goat milk and goat cheese. And there are a lot of things you can do to monetize the problem. And that's the big thing about the state of California is everything's really expensive because we're a huge state. So that's the basic idea there. Another idea that I'm working on writing up for the governor and also the mayor is I want to suggest that we have major companies sponsor fire trucks. Okay, and I mean if you remember like World War II, the bombers all had names, and there were thousands of these things. There was actually a bomber that was flown by one of my ancestors, a one Richard Neal, who it was called Choo Choo Baby or Choo 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 Baby, depending on the source. Kind of obscure history. So what we could do with our fire trucks is we could give them the same kind of body art of the bombers, but we could have like Mel Gibson has famously lost his home in the fire, and we could have a fire truck that's nicknamed the Gibson and put his face on the damn thing, have him give us $1 million to maintain that truck. And that's an idea, you know, but it's like when you have, say, a movie premieres are a big thing in California. They block off the streets, they hire security, there are thousands of people. Well, one of the things we could do is we could take a fire truck and put the name of the movie on the side, and, okay, so then you gave us money to maintain that fire truck because a big issue we had when this fire happened is we had, oh, dozens of fire trucks sitting in the yards waiting to be worked on because we just don't have the staff to maintain our fire truck fleet, which is ridiculous. Obviously fire trucks they're big things. They run between 200,000 and about $1 million each. So, and I mean, there's no production line for fire trucks. They're all custom builds. So, depending on what you want on them, they can be really expensive. But obviously, fire trucks have to be maintained, and it's maintaining the fire trucks. Don't need to buy more fire trucks. Need to maintain fire trucks. So, one of my ideas for expanding our fire truck fleet. Hey guys, knock it off. Eve is causing trouble again, but is to have these major companies um, sponsor fire trucks. Have like a major movie release, the next Star Wars, we can have a Skywalker fire truck, and they can sponsor it for as long as they want to put the money up, and then just okay, we've got another fire truck on the line, and next time the reporters come out and they report from the fire truck, they can get the good angle where it shows the name of the company, so it's advertising, and you could have news stories about what that truck did because firemen they do have a lot of downtime when we don't have huge fires to fight, so they could be sitting in the fire station writing, "Hey, today we went on an emergency call with the Mickey Mouse fire truck," and we can do stuff like that. So it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's going to work, but it's just a possibility.
So one of the things you said was California is so large, it's hard to manage, right?
Yep.
So, would you be for splitting California up? I know Northern California wants to break up.
That's an idea, and they've talked about it, but the problem is, almost all of the industry in California is in one place. And Northern California, there isn't a lot of tourism. I mean, there's a lot of natural beauty. That's where our redwoods are. And Northern California doesn't have the same fire problems. But, they said if we split California in two, which was the plan, the new capital of Southern California would pretty much be Los Angeles. The old Sacramento would be the capital of Northern California. But the problem is that Northern California wouldn't have the tax revenue to do anything because there's just no industry there. I mean, understand that I think last year they said California put something like $80 billion into the federal government, more than it got from the federal government. So in terms of tax revenue from California, you know, we put $80 billion more than we got things from the federal government in terms of you know military bases and roads and whatever have you. Well, $80 billion of that probably came from Los Angeles County alone. And it's just like, if you look at, there's a famous map out there that shows like there's Los Angeles County, and then there's like a bunch of other states that are colored in. Los Angeles County has more people than each one of those states. So the problem with splitting California up is that if we did that, there would be no people in one of the Californias. It would make a lot more sense to remove Rhode Island from statehood and make it a part of another state because it, in and of itself, is smaller than Los Angeles County. It would make more sense to make D.C. a state because there are more people living in Washington, D.C. than there are in some states. It would make more sense to make Puerto Rico a state, except for the fact that not a lot of people in Puerto Rico want to be a state. My understanding there is that their last consensus was that they wanted to remain a territory. So it's a difficult situation.
Yeah, I think Puerto Rico wants all the benefits without having to pay in.
Well, because it's a special tax district, Puerto Rico has a lot of
I don't think
problems.
territories have to pay taxes like, right, right.
I'm not sure. I mean, as I recall, Puerto Rico is basically bankrupt. And at one point, they were selling bonds and promising to pay the bonds before paying for essential services like electricity. So that's a big problem. And essential services in that area are, really not being maintained. King, oh king, I just figured out someone is speaking to him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, what's happening, King, is that I am watching Tristran's live stream on Twitch. That's what's playing in the background. I can hear him through Twitch, and he can hear me through the live stream. This is a very meta experience. So I think he's experiencing a delay, but we can hear each other. So Tristran, do you have any opinion of the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico?
I'm not gonna lie, Richard. I don't know what that is, man.
It was that really big radar dish thing in one of the James Bond movies. Was also in the film Contact. And what it is it's at one time it was the largest radio telescope on Earth. And the largest radio telescope on Earth was built by the United States government uh, in order to study the upper ionosphere during the Cold War. A storm damaged the telescope, and now it's no longer functional. It was destroyed around the time of the pandemic. I don't recall exactly how many years ago, but America has decided not to rebuild this telescope, which really sucks for Puerto Rico because it was a big part of the economy, and they're still trying to figure out exactly what they're going to do with the wrecked site. But we do not have a replacement. Right now, the largest radio telescope in the world is in China, and we cannot rely on anything scientific that China gives us. That's kind of the thing. And the issue, if you saw the movie Contact, there were two major radio telescopes that were featured in that film. There was the Big Dish telescope, which was the Arecibo installation, and then there was this multi-dish array in Australia. And the multi-dish array gives us more information from various parts of the galaxy, but the large dish array, the Arecibo, gave us better tracking information. So the issue with the loss of this telescope is that there may be objects that could threaten our spacecraft that we're not tracking as well, which is the reason, basically the reason for us to rebuild it. This is probably pretty technical. You realize by now I'm a total nerd, right?
No, you're fine.
Well,
Well, I think I am too, but I think I'm a nerd in the. I don't know what you'd call it because I played a lot of sports growing up, but I'm like super intelligent. I
okay.
scored a 30 on my ACT.
Well, I mean, the definition of a nerd is pretty nebulous. So, I mean, anybody who thinks of themselves as a nerd has a right to call themselves a nerd. Typically speaking, though, I mean, the word nerd comes from Dr. Seuss, believe it or not.
Like, does building computers make me a nerd? Does playing Minecraft make me a nerd? Does learning about stuff make me a nerd? You know what I'm saying?
Being a nerd is anything you want to be. Uh, King old King, Richard ain't fat, he's just full of wisdom. No, I'm fat. I'm definitely fat. As I said, the word nerd comes from Dr. Seuss's If I Ran the Zoo. Typically speaking, if you build computers and that's the main thing you do, you're a computer geek. All right? Geeks are specialized. Nerds are have a wide range of knowledge. So, I mean, if you're the kind of person that you like to work on computers, but you will also work on the occasional car, and you've got no trouble, tearing apart uh, your electronics to see what's wrong in there, then you're a computer nerd. But if you only work on computers, you're a computer geek. So it's like when I talk about the guy that built my computer, I referred to him as my computer geek because he specialized in computers. Shiva NJ, my grandfather went to college with Dr. Seuss. Cool, bro. I mean, small world. My next door
Speaking
neighbor.
of college, I just made my. I just enrolled for a bachelor's of science in uh, cybersecurity and information technology.
Good field. I mean, completely honest with you, I went to college and I
I'm
learned
gonna learn
all.
how to stop hackers so that I can learn how to hack better. You know.
Well, there's an old saying: set a thief to catch a thief. So set a hacker to catch a hacker. Uh, Sometimes it's referred to as a cracker because you're trying to crack a code or crack into a system. And the concept of hacking is you're trying to find the loopholes in an operating system. This was a big thing with Windows when they stopped supporting XP. They said, well, that makes Windows XP open to hacking, and there was this big lawsuit about it, where they said, there's medical devices, there are hospitals that run off XP. So if you remove that XP, then people can crack hospitals and destroy, people could die. So the court said, nah, Microsoft, you're going to keep supporting XP, whether you like it or not. So that's one of the things about Windows 10 is that most of my computers are only Windows 10 compatible. And next year, well, this year now, in October, they're supposed to stop supporting Windows 10. But it's entirely possible that they're going to get sued, and they're going to say, no, you're going to keep supporting Windows 10 whether you like it or not.
Did you see Google is getting sued? And it's a pretty big lawsuit.
No, I didn't see
I
that.
think the lawsuit hinges around Google Chrome, and they're trying to get Google to give up the monopoly they say is what they have on search engines with Chrome.
Yeah, they're trying to break up Windows or trying to break up Google, but I don't think it's going to happen. Shiva NJ1, remember Windows Millennium, remember Windows Millennium, remember Windows Millennium. No, I don't. I think Windows Millennium is one of the versions of Windows that wasn't very popular. But yeah, if you know the history behind the concept of the antitrust lawsuit, what we had at one time was these big trusts. And a trust is a legal entity, and you'd put companies were in trust, and they make these massive monopolies so that they could manipulate prices. And it's like at one time, movie theaters, for example, MGM. There was the big six movie companies, big six studios, and if you wanted to see one of their movies, you had to go to one of their theaters. They only showed their movies in their theaters, and so they had a monopoly. So it wasn't like today, where everybody's trying to get a movie into their theater. It was the movie theater was owned by the production company, and that was actually broken up in the trusts because it is a type of monopoly. So it is actually illegal currently for a movie company to own a movie theater. A production company cannot own the theater, which is weird when you think about it. But that's why there was all these different companies that own theaters like AMC, because they had to break up the studio's monopoly. And the reason for breaking up monopolies is a monopoly can manipulate the market, and that's a bad thing for the consumer. So causes economic failure. Shiva NJ1, no, it was very popular. It sucked, but I had to use it. Yeah. There are a lot of things in this world that suck.
You remember when Mozilla Firefox was dog ass?
No, I wasn't using Mozilla at the time. Um,
It was still better than Internet Explorer.
I don't know if I ever used Internet Explorer on the regular. I don't remember what browser I used. First, I'm so old that my first browser was AOL, and I did not use the internet that much. This was the time when you bought video games and installed them on your computer. And I remember I had a friend that introduced me to Mozilla. And on this particular computer, I have Mozilla, Chrome, and Brave. And the reason for that is there are certain applications I have to use in Brave, because Brave, it blocks ads and it prevents malware. and then I primarily use Firefox, which is what I'm watching you on. But Chrome is what I use. If you ever see that sometimes I'm on Random Street Theater for my YouTube account, and sometimes I'm on Richard Leland Neal, well, that's because I'm using Chrome as a second browser to log into a second account. So I can upload videos to two separate accounts, and I can respond to comments on two separate accounts. Because when you have 6 YouTube channels, you need to do stuff like that.
I think Google Chrome is the best browser available right now. DuckDuckGo is pretty good.
I haven't used DuckDuckGo. I have. I mean, I don't know why I've always been more comfortable with Firefox. Google Chrome has its ups and downs, but it's just one of those things that does happen. Is if I don't run the cleaner through my computer, I will stop being able to use certain websites when my history gets too full, which is weird, but it does happen. So that's a problem with Firefox. But what if you're the kind of person that computer geeks the way I computer geek? You need to have at least two systems, two browsers on your computer, because when something goes bad, you check the other browser to see if it's a problem with your computer or with the internet. So that's a common thing.
I've got Edge and Chrome and DuckDuckGo, so I guess I've got three. But the other day I had a browser hijacker hijack my Chrome, and it took me like 2 hours to get it off.
Really? I would have just uninstalled it. But then I'm not. I mean, I can't imagine why anyone would try to hijack my.
I had to do that twice.
Yeah. Do you use CC Cleaner?
No, I did it myself, command prompts and whatnot. You know.
Well, I mean, CC Cleaner is for clearing the junk off your computer. It's not for uninstalling. But I mean, it's like with my rendering computer, the hard drive is too small, or the solid state drive is too small. And with the rendering program I use, it stores a certain amount of data for 90 days for every file I render. And I mean, currently I'm backing up my latest card, which is 35 files, I think. And I mean, it's like uh, I think it's only 44 gigabytes of data, but I'm backing it up before I start working on the video. And then, once I tag everything, I've got all this information, so I'm constantly cleaning the junk files off my computer. But then that's
I
the
don't do like video editing and stuff. I want to get into it, but I'm not. I don't have time right now.
well, I mean, I can tell you this much: you're not going to be getting into Elements, because Premiere Elements has become a subscription service. It's no longer a program you buy; it's a program you rent, and I hate that so much.
Man, when I bought Minecraft right here, so first of all, Minecraft used to be free. All right. When I bought this, it said you're not buying Minecraft, you're buying a license. And I said, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? What am I? What? Why did I just spend $40 on the privilege to play the game? I should be buying the game.
Well, I mean, technically, you're always buying a license. Punk Rock. Hey, Richard, how's it going? It's going, bro.
When you buy a hard copy disc, buddy, they can't mess with that.
They can. I mean, it's like I have some games up there that you cannot play them unless the disc is in there. And I mean, there's a way to break through that. You have to delete a certain file, but uh, it's like with my elements. I've purchased licenses to use elements. I think 4 times, maybe 3 or 4 times now. Adobe Photoshop and Elements, and um, one of the Photoshops will not work, or two of the Photoshops will not work in Windows 10. So, and then Windows XP, one of the Photoshops I had, you had to manipulate the graphics card drivers in order to use it. So yeah, I mean they deactivate things because you install them. It tells the company that you installed them. So yes, there are versions of the game where you buy it and they can turn around and say no, doesn't work. So it's really this move towards subscription services is like this old computer has Microsoft Office on it. Well, the Microsoft Office I have on here, yes, if I had the disk, it was installed by the manufacturer by the man that put together this computer. If I had the disk, they can say that it won't run in um, Windows 11. So if I have, I mean, they can never take it off this computer, but they can prevent me from installing it on another computer. So that's a major pain in the neck.
Have you upgraded your computers to Windows 11, or are you still running Windows 10?
All of my units are Windows 10. None of my computers will upgrade. The only unit I have somebody left at my house a Windows 11 computer, but the system is locked. So what I have to do with that one is I have to replace the SSD completely, and then I have to get another version of Windows 11, and I have to buy a license for that. It's only like $35, so it's not a huge amount of deal, but it's just $35 and a lot of work. So I got because it's not like the old format where you could just pop the SSD out and pop the SSD back in. This is the one where you got to take the whole dang thing apart. And I've got the tools and everything. It's just I don't have the need for another computer yet, so I'm not worrying about it.
I bought my Windows key for like $7.
No, really, where was that?
I think the website is like cggamers.com or something like that. I found it on Reddit.
Well, I mean there are places I didn't look too hard for a
I
Windows
was
key.
not paying the $100 for the Windows Pro.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just I actually had a computer that ran Linux for a while, but what I need to do it's got to be Windows or I haven't found the right programs for Linux. It's like you can get an open source rendering program. In fact, the computer my phone is plugged into for power has an open source rendering program, but the open source rendering program is so utterly limited that I would have to run the sound compression through another program. And it's like, yeah, I could install that on Linux. It can be done, and I could probably figure out how to do it. It's not that hard to do, but the program is so inferior to any version of Elements I would get that there's just no point.
I think we need to get Shiva on here somehow. His high ass.
Yeah, he keeps telling me I had to smoke a doobie and chill, man. But I can be chill. I can be chill. I don't need to smoke a doobie for that. It's like, who was that artist, man? The guy that wrote all the melting clocks and stuff? Salvador Dali. He's like, I don't need drugs, man. I am drugs. Salvador Dali, by the way, was one cheap SOB. What he would do is he'd go to dinner, right? And he'd pay by check. He'd go to this fancy restaurant and he'd pay by check, and he would actually draw on the check. But he was a famous artist. So because it was signed, the check was actually worth more than how much he paid for his dinner. So no one in their right mind would cash that check because they could literally sell it for more money. So they would never cash the checks. She was like, "Yeah, you need to smoke a joint."
So my boy was just getting free dinner, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he would do anything for money. He was in commercials. He was a painter, but he did a lot of other things. I forget why I started researching Dolly. I know I have a book of his art somewhere. Like he was that guy with a really weird mustache. I mean, he's famous for the melting clocks.
That's Frida Kahlo, isn't it? And that's a girl.
Mustache? Frida Kahlo? No, I don't think she had a
Look up Frida
mustache.
Kahlo.
I don't think she had a mustache. Okay, for those
I
of
would look
you,
it up, but I'm fishing right now, so
yeah,
you're gonna have to wait.
for those of you who can see, this is what Dolly looks like. This is an actual picture of him, and this is a sketch of his. And you can see he's got this sort of V mustache thing that goes up to his eyes. So it's really, really crazy. Wasn't Frida Kahlo the one with the unibrow?
Oh, it might not have been. Yeah. Unibrow, not a mustache.
Yeah, I mean, she's a chick, so most of those don't have mustaches. No, she mostly painted flowers, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, big difference there. Big difference there. Both facial hair, though, so I mean. Richard, you need a hookah too. Nah, bro, I'm not into smoking things in general. Uh, as I say, my old man, before I was born, he was something of a smoker. He smoked heroin in Vietnam. Nearly killed one of his own squad mates because of it, and just smoking. I was born with a condition that makes most drugs very ineffective to me. So that kind of stuff, I mean, I have to be cautious with it, not because it's gonna get me hooked. It's because it's a waste of money. Like I've smoked one cigarette in my life, and I just don't get it. I don't know why people smoke cigarettes. They taste terrible and they do nothing to me. I had a hard Monster today. Monster Energy is putting out uh, alcoholic drinks now, but they're not energy drinks. They don't have any caffeine in them, which to me just defeats the purpose. Shiva NJ1. Get a 10-pack of gummies and eat 5. Look, I'm looking for a job right now, and
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
could do that. You could do gummies. Listen, with my blood pressure things that's going on right now, if I can't get it under control, because for the last 3 days, all right, I've been on blood pressure medicine for 3 days, taking it as prescribed, and my blood pressure is still 150 over 100. It has not changed in 3 days of medication. So I'm gonna start smoking CBD if it doesn't change.
how's your salt intake? I mean, did they say that your sodium levels were high?
I mean, I eat salt, right? But just like salt on food, you know.
Yeah.
My test results haven't come back yet. They took the test results on Friday, so you know you got the weekend.
I'm apparently getting a call from West Covina Mall. I'm going to ignore it because why would West Covina Mall be calling me on the weekend? Anyway, so yeah, look, processed food
Man, that
tends.
could be a shift. Might need to pick that up.
Um, wrong company. I mean, if there was an open shift and they needed it, would be a different guy. So I cannot imagine. How long have we been doing this now? 66 minutes. I mean, I don't know.
Hey, I've been streaming for 2 hours and 2 minutes on the dot.
Okay, so they left me a voicemail. But the voicemail is a different
Does
number.
that Motorola, does it offer you like a transcribed version of the voicemail?
I think any phone can do that, but I don't think mine's set up for it. And this is a Verizon. I think it's expensive, but
Yeah, man, Verizon is crazy. I think my phone bill right now is $250 a month.
well, I mean, the only thing I'm ticked off about when it comes to Verizon is because I often work places where there's no internet. The most thing I'm ticked off about is that they put a cap on the high speed internet for the amount of money I'm paying. Which is like, why am I paying all this money for unlimited internet if you're putting a cap on it? Like you're going low speed after a certain point. What's the deal there? Hmm.
I don't think I have it, but then again, I'm paying $90 a month for just my plan for 2 lines.
I think I'm paying 130 for one line, but it's supposed to be unlimited internet. Which, I mean, again, the point was, um, I was working when I got this particular plan. I was working uh, at a abandoned building, believe it or not. It was an abandoned factory, so there was, I was lucky to have power, and I had a bunch of computers. I mean, I used to show up at work with frickin' NORAD. I had up to 6 computers with me, and I was trying to grind through my monetization wall. And that's just one of those things. Is that that's what you do with that's what you do with YouTube is you're trying to break through those monetization walls. So there was a process of grinding that I was using, but so I would have computers that would do various things. One of the things I've done in my life is instead of having one computer that does everything, I have multiple computers that do multiple things. I have one computer that renders with OpenShot. I have one computer that renders with Elements. I have the computer I'm working on now, which is primarily just for maintaining my YouTube channels. And then I've got another computer that all it does is watch my movie screeners. So that's my thing. But I used to go to work with like all these computers. I was trying to get watch hours. But YouTube, unfortunately, what YouTube does is they turn around and say, no, no, we know that you're just watching your own YouTube channel, so we're not counting any of that. Oh, I hate them so much.
Use a VPN.
Uh, no, what it is that you can go to the YouTube channel and just click play all, and that's what I was doing. And if you do that, YouTube says, okay, it's just somebody clicking play all. So you have to create a playlist, and that will work better. But if you're using one browser, okay, and you've got multiple screens open playing that same list, that won't work either. So that was what I was doing. I was having like ten windows open, and they'd all be watching my YouTube channel and trying to up the hours, and then at a certain point you had to turn that off and restart the browser. And I think what it is, it's a point and counterpoint. It's like chess. You know, we come up with a way to do something, and then YouTube comes up with a way to detect it to stop it. It's like used to be when you uploaded a YouTube video, what you did is you'd watch the video, but you just hit refresh a couple of times to get more views. And YouTube countered that by saying, okay, now watch time is important, so you can't just get views, you need to get watch time. So doing that, I mean, you could still do that. It ups the view count, which is good for the analytics, but it does not uh, make the video all that much better because you're not getting a lot of watch time. And it's like, I could go to a company. There's a company out there that they say, we'll give you 20,000 views for $200. And it's like, yeah, 20,000 views, I should basically make my money back. But the problem is that YouTube goes, hey, something's not right here. So we're not going to monetize those views. So it's going to that company only works if you're not monetized, but you can get watch hours from them.
You know what I can do because I work 10-hour shifts is I can set your videos up to play. And your videos are only like 6 minutes long. So, I mean, that's 10 an hour, right? That's 100 views an hour. I mean, a night. 100 view hours.
Again, I don't need. Well, you can watch the live streams while on shift, and that'll give me whatever. But it's not views that I need. It's watch hours. That's the problem. But the thing is, like, if you went to my
No, that's
YouTube.
what I'm saying. If I set it up.
Yeah, but the thing is that YouTube will detect that if you just go to the thing and just press play, which you can do. You can just do play all. YouTube will just say, okay, this guy is having a friend watch his videos. So it's interaction is also important, and it's just there's so many factors. So it's like, yeah, watching the videos, that's fine, that's helpful, but you never know what YouTube's going to do with that. But I mean, further along the lines, even if this gets monetized, it's not gonna make that much money. So, it's not a huge thing to worry about. We do as we do.
Well, we're both trying to achieve the same goal, man. You know, have a job that you can do at home, make money, make videos that you like to make. You know, I'm trying to stream and do like cybersecurity so I can travel. That's my goal, is to be able to work from a computer so I can take it with me wherever I go. That's my number one goal in life.
Well, I mean, I'd like to be in a position where I can pick up and go and take my work anywhere. But I mean, it's one of those things, like with Random Street Theater. You know, geography is the big issue with a lot of the food reviews I do. I have to find something close enough so the food isn't stale by the time it gets to my house. And that's where the whole it
I
doesn't.
mean, you could always do on-site reviews, especially for the blog. I mean, for the video, you can eat cold food and just reminisce back to the hot food. Like, take your photos on site, write your blog while you're at the restaurant, and then when you get home, just eat the cold food, but read off the blog. You know what I'm saying? Your initial experience.
Well, yeah, I mean I can, but then I'd have to buy the stuff twice, which kind of defeats the purpose.
Well, you do that anyway for your blog, don't you? You buy it twice, regardless.
Okay, if I'm buying something for my blog or buying it twice, what happens is like for the monster hard drinks, I got three of each because that's what I do. All right. When it comes to like McDonald's food, I take a picture of it before I eat it. I don't buy it twice. So, I mean, it may be. There are a lot of items where I've had them several times because
Okay.
I just go to fast food restaurants. But, it's the buying it twice thing is you take a picture before you eat it and then you eat it on camera. So it's like, yeah, I could theoretically go to the restaurant, take a picture of it, and then eat it in my car and film myself eating in my car. That's a possibility. It's not an ideal possibility. It's just something that one can do. Uh, King old King. OnlyFans is the best thing for those who want money from sofa. I don't know, Tristan. Do you think you could do an OnlyFans? Because I'm not willing to do that.
I don't think my butthole is pretty enough, Richard.
I know people that wanted to pay me several $1,000s for a picture of my junk. I just never got that desperate.
Bro, if someone offered me 10K for a picture of my penis, I'm taking that deal.
Okay, yeah, but this guy was pretty weird and he wasn't very trustworthy. So I don't know if I want pictures of my junk to go international.
I mean, you only live once, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I told him it's like, dude, if you want to set up an actual shoot, get me Stormy Daniels in a Donald Trump mask, I will totally do that. I got no problem uh, doing that legitimate TV, but or legitimate, with permits and all that stuff. But I'm not doing a private photo shoot for some weird gay dude or any weird dude from I don't know, maybe if it was a chick, but was a chick. I don't know if it would be a photo
Oh,
shoot.
is this the dude you were telling me sent you stuff?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's the one that convinced me to get a wish list on Amazon. And it's like he was like, well,
So,
hey,
Richard, you see that pink sheet?
yeah, well, pink thing.
Oh, it died before you saw it. Anyway, this pink wool right here, from this pink sheep. This is one of the rarest mobs in the game, and this dog right here just killed it, man.
Mm. Well, collect the wool. But yeah, he convinced me to what it was I was sitting there going, if one of them went out, my computer or my camera, I would be screwed. Or no, if both of them went out. So he convinced me to get an only or get a OnlyFans, get a an Amazon wish list, and then he just went on the Amazon wish list and he bought everything. And I told him, I said, look, I put up the Amazon wish list, get me a chair. That was after the accident, after I got hurt, and I was 415 pounds. So the chair I'm currently sitting in would literally just have broken under me. Broke a lot of chairs back then. And so he went out there, he just bought everything on my Amazon wish list, and it all showed up at my house. So the camera I film on in the other room, the Canon 90D, is one he purchased for me. But he promised me, he said, no matter what, our relationship will not change. He was just being a loyal fan. And, that's totally turned around and said, he felt cheated that I didn't send him a picture of my junk. I was like, dude, you've already lied to me. I don't know what you're going to do with that picture, and I just don't trust that relationship.
Yeah, that's a weird little thing right there, what you just told me. That's a weird story, my guy.
Well, I mean, one of the things in the world of psychology, Tristran, is the concept of the forbidden fruit. I mean, this particular person, he liked big men, and I think he also liked straight men. It's his thing was he wanted to boogie with straight men, and this is what we refer to as shaping behavior. Is that you convince somebody to do something once, it's easier for you to convince someone to do something in the future. So it's like if you look at my blog, there's all kinds of comments he left on Richard Reviews Everything, where he talks about being willing to perform sexual acts, and it's like you know if you can get somebody in the door, they become okay with it, and it's just I'm not okay with that. So I mean, I've got no problem with homosexuals. Many of my friends are homosexuals. I've had a lot of friends who are transgenders, in fact. But I mean, it's just, I'm into chicks. It's just very definitely into females. You know what I mean? For those of you who don't remember, this cat
So,
here is
Richard,
Caramel.
what's your 1 year goal? What you want to see happen in 2025?
Oh, 2025. I don't know. What do I want to see happen? I want to see a million subscribers. I'd really like to see that. That's not going to happen, but I mean, hey, I can dream. What's your goal for 2025? Find more
So
pink
I
sheep?
do on my on my little stream here, I said if I can reach 50 followers or 5 subs by February, I'll do a giveaway.
What's the difference between a follower and a sub? Or are they just, if you get
So a subscriber earns you money every month because they have to pay for the subscription, and a follower just is like it's a
okay,
bonus.
so
It's like a subscriber on
a
YouTube. It's
follower
like
on
membership and subscriber on YouTube.
okay, makes sense. What would you give away?
I haven't figured that out yet. I think I'm leaning towards like a $50 gift card or $50 worth of whatever you want. I think I'm leaning on $50. Whether that be Steam, a Steam gift card, something from Amazon, an Amazon gift card. Just whatever. I don't like giving out cash because that's weird, man.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Shiva NJ1, I think in 2025 we need more cowbell.
Like this cruise that we gave away for this Christmas.
What? Cruiser?
More cowbell.
Yeah,
So the
the
cruise we gave away for this Christmas is
oh,
a $2,500 cruise.
cruise.
All right, but I'm not buying gift cards for the $2,500 amount because they can turn around and sell that, and I want them to go on the cruise. So we are giving. I am paying for the cruise. I am booking it with their information. So I want them to go on the cruise. I don't want to give away cash. If I wanted to give away $2,500 cash, I would give away $2,500 cash. But I want someone to go on the trip.
Maybe you should just give away a cowbell. Seems to be a popular thing. Well, I mean, uh, I probably could find a place around here to mount a cowbell if that's actually what people want. I mean, not opposed to doing that. It's just the basic fact that I think people are more or less joking when it comes to the cowbell. I mean, I guess I could pull out one of my wood frogs for the next live stream, which I mean, I'm pretty sure nobody remembers
No, but
that
that could be
video,
a
but
staple of your channel.
cowbells and wood frogs? Somewhere I have an owl whistle. I
Yeah, you
mean,
could be known as the cowbell guy.
eh, I probably should get like a stool or something and set it up so that I could live stream from my studio. And I mean, I'm sure there's a way that you could actually get it so that like whatever's playing in the background here could play on my green screen. I'm not tech savvy enough to do that yet. Shiva NJ1, I think Tristan should give away more operative word, more cowbells. Whoa. You know, I actually knew a guy, a young man who was homeless and lived at a shelter I worked at, who every now and again would just say, "I like turtles." And this was because of the meme where there was a random kid, I think he was dressed up like a zombie or something, and he just randomly said, "I like turtles." So I mean, he would be sitting there telling me about his day, and he'd be like, I applied for a job today, and it was at Burger King, and I think I'm gonna get it, and I'm looking at getting into an apartment with my friend Max, and I like turtles, and just randomly would keep saying that. I always wonder whatever happened to him. But then I wonder what happened to a lot of the people I worked with at the homeless shelters.
So, Richard, how did you get the idea to start a YouTube channel?
It's kind of a long story. I took a drafting class in college. I was a theater major at the time, and I had all this art supplies sitting around. And then I took a screenwriting
Well, you
class.
got time for it, bud.
Yeah, well, I took a screenwriting class with this one professor. She was such a pain in the neck. And every time I brought in a script, she wanted me to write something completely different. And she had her friends who she had a bunch of students who were longtime students of hers taking the class. They would always give me these terrible readings. So I mean, got to the point where I gave up on becoming a playwright. But I had all this stuff from theater that was sitting around, and I was reading the comic Sinfest. So one day I came up with the idea of, I've got all these art supplies, I should start a web comic, right? And I was watching things on YouTube and I tried to make an animation based on that comic, which, I mean, my art skills are pathetic, so it's a terrible idea. But because I had a YouTube channel, I started making videos. And around that time, that was when we had what were referred to as video responses. So someone made a video, you could make a video response. And there was a movie club where we all got together and reviewed certain older movies that were on Netflix because Netflix was sponsoring YouTube channels at the time. So that was how my main channel became Random Street Theater because that's a name of one of the web comics that I had or have, if you want to call it that. Although I haven't drawn anything since 2020, I think, maybe before then. But so I've kind of stopped drawing, but I had a YouTube channel and I started reviewing a lot of movies because I love movies. I mean, I've always wanted to work in the arts world. My next door neighbor is actually a set designer for Hollywood, or at least he was. So that's how I got the idea for a YouTube channel. And then you came up with you could have multiple channels, and I had varying contents that didn't fit together. So that's why I have 6 channels. Is so I separated the content into categories, so to speak. So what made you want to go on to Twitch? W59JK was D. How does it smell? It smells like smoke. It smells like the fire farted.
I had the idea. I just had the idea out of it. And brought it up to my wife, and she said, I had a dream about you doing it. So I was like, well, maybe I should just go ahead and do it.
Mm. Someone said I should start a Twitch channel, and I'm like, but I don't play any games. They're like, you don't have to play games. You could Twitch stream yourself eating dinner. Huh? I don't understand that one either. I don't understand Twitch.
I wonder if I could use my phone as a webcam and video capture my phone I'm relatively new in this. I might try that actually, just like you're doing now with YouTube, but capture it in Twitch.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I say, one of my computers that has a webcam crashes whenever I try to use it. My other webcam is just too low quality, so I decided to use my phone. Uh, I've actually thought that maybe one thing I should do is to get a fish tank and just have a live stream of a fish tank constantly. Uh, it was one of my weirder ideas, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, logistically speaking, how that would even work. But apparently, you need a certain number of subscribers to go live. But I mean, wouldn't that just be weird if you had a channel that was just somebody's fish tank, and you could just see what the fish were doing at any time. Do you know where the concept of webcams came from? Someone was monitoring a coffee pot.
I have no idea.
It was somebody monitoring a coffee pot. I believe it was at IT. Fish tank has already been done. Okay, well, I mean, maybe there's room for one more. Nunez, I'm watching Wes Craven's Hellraiser right now, so intense. Hellraiser got nothing on my sister, bro. But I believe it was an IT Institute. There was a coffee maker, and people kept not making fresh coffee. So people set up a webcam so that when they wanted coffee, they could check the coffee maker to see when there was coffee. And this was set to an online setting so that anyone around the world could check the coffee maker because people were checking from their workstations online. And at some point, they actually started getting requests, I think, from Japan, because this was in the United States, that they install lights at night so that people could see the coffee maker because they were watching the coffee maker from other countries because apparently it just became a thing. So this is the one thing you have to understand about the internet is that if you could get enough eyes on any artistic property, anything you're doing, there is an audience, even a coffee maker. So I mean, like literally, if you could set up a webcam at a break room in some facility and that just watches the coffee maker, there are enough people to watch the coffee maker. And that's how the world works. There was once a guy who spent 4 hours every day smiling at the camera. He was just sitting on the ground smiling at the camera, and it was a social experiment. And he wouldn't talk, he wouldn't do anything, he'd just smile at the camera. And this became a famous internet thing, or famous enough so that it's a piece of history. Tristran, I have to ask, why would you digitally fish? I mean, that's always been something that I saw somebody fishing in slime in World of Warcraft once, and I was like, if you're gonna go fishing, why not go fishing? What are you getting out of digital fish?
So early game like this, I don't know if you can see at the bottom of my screen. That's called a hot bar. What is
Yeah.
that? 9 things.
Mm-hmm.
But that bow that's in slot 3 from the left, I caught it fishing, and it's a very good early game bow. It's got Unbreaking 3, which makes it harder, it lasts longer. Power 4, which means it hits harder. And mending, which means it fixes itself when I get experience.
Ah,
And you can catch that while fishing. You can catch books, enchanted books, which are over here. This one's pretty good. Protection 3, efficiency 3.
so you'd rather have those than fish, or is it just a convenience thing?
So you just fish to get good stuff. Yeah, no, this I don't want to grind to get this stuff. I'd rather just sit here, listen to you talk, watch your live stream, and just right click the mouse.
Henry Madrid, what's up, bro? Henry, I didn't even know you were on YouTube. King O King, I didn't know 18 plus MFS still play Minecraft. There are no age limits on Minecraft. You can be Minecraft all you want. You know, look, I
Dude,
have a
Minecraft's a fun game, man. It's a good stress relief. It's a good stress relief. You could be you. So Minecraft is a great time sink. I mean, you could sit here. I've been playing this game for 2 hours and 30 minutes, and it feels like I started 20 minutes ago. Like this thing is very calming. It's a very good way to just think. It's a good way to figure other stuff out. Late game, mid game, you can AFK at farms to earn experience and get other loot and stuff like that. So it's a good thing to just chill with, you know. Digital smoking weed.
see. It's kind of like meditation, I guess. Shiva NJ1, smoking a joint is better stress reliever. Lol. Yes, but for one thing, it's not as expensive to play Minecraft than it is to buy a joint. And for another, Minecraft doesn't make food more delicious. That's a thing.
Yeah, I don't need food to taste any better than it does already.
Yeah, I know. I will say there was one time in my life I could truly say I was happy, and the downside of that is I burnt so many calories that I overloaded my kidneys. But food was delicious. I mean, I remember I ate a lot of grapefruit, and for some reason the grapefruit tasted so much better. Henry Madrid, bring the cat out. This is Kit. She has a problem with her chin here. Don't know what's going on with her. Shiva NJ1. U.S. old heads, potheads grew out of the you got to certain stage and you didn't have munchies anymore. It's just a question of when's the last time you ate in relativeness to getting stoned. Uh, Henry, Kitty, I hate Vance. Yeah, everybody hates Vance. That's why he's vice president, isn't it? Because I'm gonna hang him. Hey Tristan, how did you stand on the hanging Mike Pence thing?
I think J.D. Vance is better than Donald Trump.
I don't know enough about Vance to know, but
I'm not gonna lie to you, Richard. I didn't get involved in any of that. I think Donald Trump's first term was good. I think it was an excellent first term. I'm a little worried about some of the stuff he's been saying this second go around. I'm not gonna lie to you. I voted for him. Tried to vote for him. Apparently, when you move in the state of Tennessee, the voting registration is by county. So when I moved, I wasn't registered to vote anymore, so I couldn't vote this election, which kind of sucks. But I I think Donald Trump was heads and shoulders above Kamala Harris.
okay, you
I
can't.
probably would have voted for Bernie Sanders before I voted for Kamala Harris.
Uh, there was a time I would have voted for Sanders too. I've just lost all respect for the man. I mean, I'm very, very much anti-Trump. I can tell you that much. Trump gives me a lot of ammunition for my
I
jokes,
think the
but
Democratic Party did Bernie Sanders dirty, but just like they did Robert Kennedy.
there is no question that the Democratic Party did Bernie Sanders dirty. It is a well documented fact that Hillary Clinton was not a legitimate candidate for president. The people did not choose
I
her.
was gonna I was gonna vote Democrat for Robert Kennedy. If Robert Kennedy had ran as a Democrat, I would have voted for Robert Kennedy.
Well, Kennedy's an old name in politics. And as we say, poly meaning many, ticks, blood sucking parasites. Is that a dog in the water?
I don't know, man. I'm a Christian. I say I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ. I'm not. I try not to associate myself with modern day American Christianity, but so I tend to think I know the end game, and I'm not too worried. It does nothing really stresses me out, because I know who's going to win.
Okay, so as a Christian, how often do you read your Bible?
Um, I would say daily. I mean, how often do I sit down and study what it says? Not enough. I did go to a discipleship program at school for 2 years, graduated, got both first year and second year certifications. Spent 2 years immersed in it, and that is why I don't associate with American Christianity. I don't think it's. When I went to Pakistan, the Muslims in Pakistan were nicer than any American Christian I've ever met. So American Western Christianity is horrific. I try to be different.
Yeah. Okay, so Henry Madrid, Ivan Haro says, "What's up?" Yeah, Henry, ask Ivan if he still has the zebra pencil I gave him in high school. They're out drinking at Guildhall, and Shiva NJ1 says, "As often as you eat sausage." Okay, for those of you who are not aware,
Is Henry Madrid a friend of yours, Richard?
high
You know
school
him,
high
like
school
in real
friend,
life?
yeah. known him for like a very long time. But for those of you who are not aware, a Christian is actually supposed to read a section of the Bible every day in certain traditions. And this actually comes from before the printing press. The rabbi would copy a section of the Torah every day. A Jew has a section of the Torah they're supposed to read every week. This is a designated religious thing. We actually have a holiday for when we complete our yearly reading of the Torah. But in order to create a new Torah, because if you look at most Bibles and most Torahs, there is a section where it says births, deaths, and marriages. And there are even places in the United States. Yes, Henry, I have thought about doing Twitch. This is my friend Tristan's Twitch right now, and we're watching that. So, as I was saying, there are places in the United States where it is legal for you to present a Bible with, I think, 3 generations of recorded births, deaths, and marriages as a form of ID. That has never left our legal thing, because back in the day, this is how you recorded your genealogy. So somewhere in my collection, I actually have a list of the Bible passages you are supposed to read every day. Shiva NJ, and how often are Jews supposed to eat pork? I am a Reformed Jew. I was raised as a Reformed Jew. We have no eating restrictions. Although,
I'm not gonna lie to you, Richard. Tradition and tradition and rules um, don't. I don't. There's only one thing that a Christian needs. That's to proclaim that Jesus Christ died for their sins, rose from the dead, and saved them from eternal damnation in hell. That's all. That's all you got to do.
okay, I mean, I actually was thinking of creating a blog where I posted the daily readings. But I have too much stuff to do anyway. But interestingly, claim that they believe more in Jesus than Christians because apparently in the Quran it speaks of after the rising that he went to the different Arab lands and continued his gospel, as opposed to ascending into heaven, which, yeah, there are a lot of writings about Jesus. There is what we refer to as the Apocrypha, which is the things that are outside the Bible. And it's like in the Bible, it mentions 3 archangels, or 3 archangels, but it says there are 7. The other 4 are only mentioned in the Apocrypha.
Man,
Kit is back. And Kit is gone again.
Orthodox Christianity and Catholicism, I think, are man. They hurt a lot of people.
Well, do remember that back in the olden times, when my people were still nomads, religion and law were one and the same. Okay, I mean, you want to be part of the tribe, then you have to follow our laws. And these laws, they kept us safe, they kept us clean. That's just one of those things, is that we were a theocracy, right? So religion is rooted in law. That's why religion has rules of conduct and even punishments and so on and so forth. But when you look at Catholicism, Catholicism being a quasi government, that, there were places that subscribed to it, you need to understand, like back in the day after the fall of the Roman Empire, if you were going to have a town, the town was centered around a church. And the church was normally the only stone building, right? And when there was a bad storm, everybody's house, which was made out of mud or straw or whatever, that got wiped away, and the church was what remained. So when we talk about, the church as a healing body, you went to the church to have your child because that was the place that was clean and safe. Will you be watching the inauguration tomorrow? Wasn't planning on it. Don't care. I've seen enough news. So as I say, in rural communities in England particularly,
I
likely
voted for the guy, and I'm not wasting my time with the inauguration. Or, well, I support the guy.
you tried to vote for him. Shiva NJ1. I'm a wasp. What kind of Protestant are you, Shiva? Henry Madrid. I smash wasp. For fun. How's the real estate game, Henry?
Henry seems like the kind of guy that like watches anime and reads manga. Is that what he did in school?
Couldn't tell you. Henry was he was the local bad boy in high school. He was the guy that got kicked out of news staff for not doing his homework. Claimed we had a student named Mike Hunt. I don't know if you get that joke. Have you ever seen the film Porky's?
Ah, that's funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a street in South El Monte, I think it is, called Michael Hunt Drive. Yeah, Henry, I mean, you thought that was funny. Peggy was furious. Our high school doesn't have a newspaper anymore, Henry. That really, well, really told me how things have changed. Tristan, and those who are watching but are not aware, in high school is when I started my love of photography, and I was the photo editor for the newspaper for 2 years. And in fact, my senior year in high school, we were not going to have a. It would probably be pro-Trump by now. Uh, I don't know. As I do recall, the head of the teacher responsible for the newspaper was definitely a conservative. But anyway, my senior year in high school, they canceled the award ceremony for the newspapers across the district, and I went to the superintendent and pitched a fit, and he got it put back together. So there was such a ceremony, and then I couldn't go because I had work. Interesting times. Yeah, I heard that real estate is very lucrative, but you don't have as many buyers now because just no one can afford it. Shiva NJ, I don't vote. It only encourages them.
I think it's a buyer's market right now.
It really depends on where you are. Um, in Los Angeles, it is not a buyer's market. The people who moved in across the street from me. I mean, there were three generations of the same family in that house, and then the last two generations all died within 4 years of each other. And they completely remodeled the house. They gutted the place, and I think it sold for more than $1 million. And the people that moved in, it's a nice Asian family, and they own Mercedes and Teslas, so they got money. And nowadays, if you're driving a Civic in the state of California or in Los Angeles County, you're not buying a house. I mean, you need to have an income of something like $150,000 a year to be able to afford a house out here. Because first you got to pay the mortgage, which is going to be a note of multiple $1,000s a month. Then you've got the property tax, which is really going to be a bear. Then there's upkeep, and we keep getting fittings that are just not designed for hard water is a big problem. So, people will install things thinking you have soft water. So if you don't have a water softener, 2 years later, fittings are falling apart because they've rusted through. Personally, I think it should be illegal to make fittings that aren't rated for hard water, but then that's just me.
I'll tell you what, where we live in Tennessee, East Tennessee, we've got some super hard water. It's got calcium and lime in it.
Well, I mean, the debate over whether it's better to consume hard water or filtered water is ongoing. And really, it depends on the water that's coming out of your tap. If there's nothing harmful in it, then, by all means, dude, drink the water. And if there is something harmful in it, then you should really get filtered water. But, I mean, you need calcium in your diet. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is hard on your plumbing. And I mean, my house originally had galvanized pipe, which rusts like nothing else. And I've had to have all of my galvanized pipe removed because it corrodes. And I mean, if you ever see on TV like New York apartments have that brown water, what that brown stuff is rust from the galvanized piping that was used around World War II. Shiva NJ1, my water over here in New Jersey is just fantastic. I don't buy bottled water. I drink it straight out of the tap. Yeah, again, it's becoming more and more of a thing, Shiva, that in America, our water isn't running.
Some of the best water I've ever had when I lived in Alabama, they had 2 miles of like pipe from a mountain spring that would come from a spring, and they piped it down 2 miles to the road. You'd take your jugs and fill it up. The water tasted like the word crisp. There was no flavor, no taste, no like it tasted like the air but wet. It was crazy and very good. And it would come out cold. Ooh,
Yeah, well, one of the things that we don't realize here drinking tap water, because there's a certain amount of bleach in tap water to make it sanitary. So, I mean, if you're one of those people that goes on the week long hike, you know, you'll go out there and you'll notice the water starts tasting different because your body is used to the flavors. It's kind of like, if you're one of those people, Shiva NJ1, you got the right Tristran. Well water is the best, the very best. Shiva, it depends on the well, it depends on the spring. You know, groundwater quality changes greatly. But if you remove yourself from societal water, eventually you start realizing all the chemicals and things they put in the water because your body is so used to them at this point that you don't notice them. It's like if you stop drinking soda and stop eating processed food for long enough, because there is corn syrup in almost everything we eat, in all the breads and all the processed foods. There's corn syrup. So if you stopped eating all that for like a week and you ate nothing but say vegetables and just regular meat, and then you go out there and you have yourself a Pepsi, the Pepsi tastes like way different. It's a completely different flavor. And that's because we are so used to flavors just smashing our taste buds that we forget. Our bodies are trained to forget what raw things taste like. And in fact, it's like I knew a guy that talked about how sweet normal potatoes taste because he doesn't eat any of that processed food. I've had well water at least 12 different locations. All of it has been fantastic. You've never had well water. How would you know? I have had well water. You can buy bottled well water, it's a thing. But there was a case where there was an Olympic athlete who went up into the mountains and started drinking well water. And it turned out the well water he was drinking was contaminated with arsenic. So, I mean, there is different grades of.
I think there's a difference between well water and spring water.
There is.
Spring water just comes to the surface. Well water, you got to dig for it. I drink spring water.
Well, yes, but you do know, or probably you don't. There's what's called a yellow spring or an orange spring, and the water comes out orange because it's contaminated with rust. So, I mean, typically speaking, it used to be if the water's moving, it's safe because stagnant water is where bacteria grows, and that was a thing. Groundwater is part of the water table. Spring water is generally associated with literally the springtime and melting snow, which in the past has been much cleaner than it is today. Ray Carreno, I happened upon a gentleman at Galahad who purportedly was the preemptive cartoonist of Titan Tribune, and he had liked to formally express his greetings. I believe he went by Ivan Haros. Yes, Ray, Ivan was the cartoonist for the Titan Tribune. And last time I saw Ivan, which was in 1998, he was drawing his comics with a zebra, I believe it was a Zebra 105 that I had given him as a gift. So, I was honestly not aware any of the people from my high school were following this channel until a friend of mine passed away, and I made a video about it. And then uh, Jose told me, I was always wondering if it was the same Jose that was a soccer player back when I was in high school. It's still crazy when you hear about someone from your high school dying, you know? I mean, I'm an old man, but I'm not that old. And it's just when you hear about somebody your age passing away or younger, it freaks you out a bit. Okay, we're at the 2 hour mark, and my computer just told me I need to get offline. So it's been good chatting with you guys. I have that voicemail to check, so I gotta go. I have other work to do. So Tristan, keep on Tristianing. Henry, don't spend too
Are
much
you gonna
time
be
with.
on tonight, or are you gonna be on tomorrow, or?
I don't know. I don't have a schedule for these things. They've just been totally random. So I mean, I've been on every day for the last 7 days. You know, I'm gonna try to finalize and come out with whatever my schedule is tomorrow, and just I've got at least one job interview tomorrow, so it depends on where I wind up working and what my schedule winds up being. So all right, I will see you folks later. I gotta go. Peace.